In this video, we'll be talking about the basics of technical analysis in stocks. So technical analysis is one of the two types of analysis in stocks. It's an analysis of when you should buy. I based my technical analysis off of the TAE framework, which stands for Trend, Area Value, and Entry Trigger. Let's talk about what each of these parts mean and symbolize, and what you should look into. Let's start with trend. So in trend, you want to see if there are higher highs and higher lows, which symbolizes an uptrend, or lower highs and lower lows, which symbolizes a downtrend. You also want to check out the 200 period moving average. You want to look to see if the markets are above or below the moving average. There are many moving averages, but the 200 period and the 50 period moving averages are one of the most realistic and accurate. The next thing you want to keep in mind is if the stock is in its area of value. Is your stock in its correct area of value? So you wouldn't go to the store and buy apples or oranges for $20 each. That would be too expensive, and they're not in their area of value. If the price came down, then it would be in this area of value. So you need to do the same with stocks and analyze them to see if they really are worth how much they're being sold at right now. There are three things you would want to look at: support and resistance, moving average, and trend line. So in support and resistance, those are two different lines that are drawn horizontally that symbolize places that the stock bounces or touches and bounces back at. So for example, a area of resistance is a place where the stock has touched and bounced back on, touched and bounced back on, and wherever they hit the line, it bounces back. I want you to think of resistance as an area of resistance, not a line, because the stock can bounce in an area, not just one single point. The same goes for support, which is the higher version of resistance. Another thing you want to look at is trend line, and a trend line is basically a diagonal line that symbolizes a place where the stock keeps hitting, whether it be in an uptrend or a downtrend. You also want to look at the moving average, which, as we said before, there are many moving averages that you can look at. Lastly, you want to see an entry trigger. So there are many entry triggers that you can look for when you want to buy. These include candlestick patterns such as shooting star, hammer, bullish engulfing, and a bearish engulfing. And if you see this could be your point to sell or your point to buy. So here's just a little review for candlestick patterns in case you are not that familiar with candlesticks. Candlesticks look like this, and all candlesticks have an upper wick and a lower wick. And the upper wick shows the high of the day, and the lower wick shows the low of the day, so how low or high the stock price went during the day. And then if you look at the close or the open and the open switch between the body, either side of the body, depending on if it closed higher or the stock closed lower. And if the stock closed higher, then the body will be in green, but if the stock closed lower, then the body will be in red. Here's an example of an entry trigger, and it's the hammer and the shooting star. So a hammer is when the stock was pushed very low. As you can see, the low of the lower wick went very down. Yeah, it was pushed back up at the end of the day, and it closed higher than it opened. The same goes for shooting star. The stock could have been pushed very high, yet was pushed back down and at the end of the same day and closed lower than it opened. And these are both entry trigger points that show that you should buy or sell. Another two entry trigger points or examples include the bullish and bearish engulfing. A bullish engulfing is when the stock price managed to come back after a day. As you can see, the second candlestick engulfs the first one and closes higher than it opened, therefore managing to come back after one day, and vice versa, which shows the bearish engulfing. Okay, let's go over everything again. Check out trend. If the stock price is over or above the 200 MA, you should have a longer bias. If the stock price is below the 200 MA, you should have a shorter bias. Then check out the area of value. Check your support and resistance and trend lines and moving average. The closer the stock price is to the trend line or the resistance, the more in value it is. Lastly, check the entry trigger. See if there are any reversal candlestick patterns and see if your time to buy is right now. For more on stock analysis, check out our other video on basics of fundamental analysis and learn more about the analysis of stocks. Thank you. I hope you love this video. For more videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe to the Success Bistro.